Hi students, how was the weekend? Let's go back to work. We will complete our unit that we stopped in the middle. It's about in the middle of the unit. The lessons that we took before were interesting, and we will complete our interesting unit this week. We have, of course, Unit 3, which is what they will think of next, which is related to the future. Now, we talked last week about interesting things that were imagined, some happened, some didn't happen, and other things that we just discussed as our vision to the future and what we expect or predict that may happen within the 100 years or the next 100 years. The last lesson that we had, it was a pronunciation lesson. It was something very simple. Now we discussed consonant clusters. Now in the consonant clusters, we said that we have 2 or 3 consonants. They go together to create one sound, or they combine together to give the sound that we want. And we have here, it will connect together in the pronunciation part, and actually it is very easy. We have here the basic thing is to just know how to pronounce the word correctly, and also to just learn how to pronounce the word as a native speaker. Now, these are some of the examples that we had. We have here, for example, slipper, we have block, twig, sprout, fly, and so on. So these are some examples that we have here. And I asked you also to just point out the consonant cluster, that we have here within our new exercise and our new lesson that we are going to take today. So just to highlight what we have here, we can say, for example, the common CH that we have, chain. Now, CH, SH, the TH, they are very easy, and we always pronounce them, but we do not realize that we are dealing with a consonant cluster. Another example is place. We have also lucrative, orbit, and steep. So just to remind you that they are 2 consonants together. If there is a vowel in the middle, it is no longer a cluster. Now, moving on from the exercise that we have, we are going to also just discuss the new part here, which is related to the meanings that we have. Now, the lesson on page number 39 here, it is the meaning, or we are going to just relate between the meanings and the words that we have here. And this is actually our new lesson, which is the vocabulary building lesson, which we are going to start. And as usual, I have my building here, just to remind you that you are building up your vocabulary. So it can be based on the words that you are learning now, words that you have learned within the semester, or even outside class. You don't have a problem. But this is your building, and you are building up your vocabulary. Now, going back, we're going to see our objectives. You are going to give the meaning of the new vocabulary from the context. Establish the meaning of new vocabulary in relation to their synonyms and antonyms. 3, to answer questions and state the definitions. And to form sentences using the new vocabulary. Okay, now, as usual, they give you the words based on the text that we have in the reading, which we will take tomorrow, inshallah. Now, our lesson, or the exercise that you have, as we mentioned, is on page number 39. And the reading part that you can go back to understand more, of course, they are going to be on pages number 40 and 41. But this time, I want to change a little bit. So usually, what did we do? We usually read the word or the words, and we read the meaning, the other side, the meanings, and try to relate to each other. If that doesn't work with you, we can do the third part, which is to go through the meaning within the text, the reading text that we have. Fourth step we can do also is to ask a classmate and discuss together. You can ask your colleague, a friend, and maybe you know something or he or she knows something that you can just exchange. And if both of you have a kind of problem with understanding the word, there is always the fifth step that we have here, which is to get hints from pictures, synonyms, antonyms, and explanation. So as we agreed at the beginning of the semester, the last option that you have is to translate or to use a dictionary. So translating is not always successful. As we said, you have to try to learn and try to deal with the word in a way that you will not forget it and you will be able to apply it for a long term. Okay, so here, what do I have new? Instead of doing the usual steps that I had prepared in Unit 1 and Unit 2, we're going to just, actually they are the same steps, but we're going to change the way that we apply them. So instead of just looking at the words and trying to match, this time I'm going to focus on the meanings that we have here. So just see the meanings. We have the first one, which is A, extremely difficult. So difficult is a well-known word. You can, it's not just difficult, extremely difficult. So you can easily apply to the meaning here or relate to it. Then we have in B, a path in space, followed by a planet, moon, or a spacecraft. So here you are going to relate something with space, the moon, spacecraft. So this one is also something that you can easily relate to. Then we have in C, a group of businesses owned by the same company. So we have here businesses, they are all owned by the same company or the same person or the group in general. After that we have here in D, expensive. So here it is obvious. We have after that in E, frequent or usual. So if you are not very familiar with the word frequent, you can always relate to the word usual. After that we have here in F, producing a lot of money. So we have here, you are making or you are producing a lot of money. You are going to relate the word money, of course, and how to produce and make it. Then we have in G, given an approximate cost. So the word cost also gives you the meaning of money, but I want to give or to be given an approximate cost. And here we can relate when we discuss the words. And the last one we have here, imitate. Imitate here is very close. Actually, I don't want to say the word because you will know the meaning. So we'll just wait and see what it is if you do not already know the word imitate. So we will move on with the first word here, which is chain. And I have all the meanings in front of you. So you are going to immediately just relate and connect between the examples or the thing that I will give you here with the meanings that you have. So the first thing that I'm going to give you is a picture. Now these are different kinds of chains, as you can see. If you do not connect or you cannot relate with one of the meanings, I'll give you an example. Now here, chain can be a noun as this, or we can say in an example, there are a lot of restaurant chains that spread all around the world. So any famous kind of restaurant or your famous restaurant that you know that it has a lot of branches here in Riyadh, for example, or in Jeddah or in Al-Khubar, or actually it can be a chain worldwide known. So here, this restaurant, coffee shop, or a brand, any kind of store that has a lot of branches in many places, this is what we call a chain. So here, it will be easy to relate to one of the meanings here. We can just read them. We can say difficult is very far from our meaning. Of course, it doesn't have anything connected to planet or space or moon. You can just go back and down, and you can see here. Yes, okay, so we have here in C a group of businesses owned by the same company. We are talking about many, and here a group of businesses. So yes, chain does mean a group of businesses owned by the same company. So this is going to be the first one. Number 2, common place. So place here is easy, but if you connect it with common place, it gives you a totally different meaning. And also, if you cannot associate with the meanings that you have here, we will see some group of synonyms that we have. Now we can say, for example, ordinary or a routine as an adjective, or we can say as a noun, nothing out of the ordinary. So I'm talking about something that is very ordinary. It happens all the time. There's nothing new. There's nothing very interesting about it because we already know it. As an example, I can give you to use the use of social networking sites and video sharing is now commonplace. So does it amuse you that you can see videos, for example, on social media? No, because we are now used to it. So we have here, this is what we mean by commonplace. It's something that is very common, and now you can easily relate it to one of the meanings that you have here. So we can say, yes, it is connected to the word frequent or usual. So you can easily connect between the word routine, ordinary, and usual. Moving on, we have the word estimated. Estimated here is actually not a very new word, but okay, we will discuss it and see what we have new. Now the synonyms that you have here, we can say, for example, the estimated profits this year are very high. So we can see this businessman, there is a study of a project, he has his laptop, he has his graphs, and based on the things that he sees, that he thinks that the profit or the money he will gain will be very high. Does he know exactly how much? No, but it is an estimated amount. And it also can be the opposite. It doesn't have to mean something high. So we have here estimated. In general, it means to guess or evaluate how much or how close, not exactly. So also going back to the meanings, you can just go from A, we have here B, D, and note that I'm talking about a cost or an amount of money. I'm estimating, okay? And also it doesn't have to be associated with money. I can estimate time. I can estimate the effort or the energy that I need. But it's something that I don't know exactly. It's something very close. But based on the examples that we have here, we can say that, yes, it can be the meaning given an approximate cost. So approximate is very close to the word estimated here. It's not something very exact, but it is very close. But note, please, that it doesn't have to be just connected with the word money. Okay, after that we have, yes, you can read this word, lucrative. Lucrative here is an unusual word. We don't use it all the time. So we are going to look at the reading part like the book instructed us. Now here in the book we have here, although up to now only very wealthy people have had the opportunity to be space tourists, many see this as the beginning of what will eventually become a lucrative new industry. So just imagine that your next vacation, it will be in space. The people who are working and the business companies that may make this happen, they think that it can be a lucrative new industry. So lucrative maybe it may mean profitable, or we can say cost effective, productive, or you can associate with the word that we took in Sulaiman al-Rajhi's reading part, booming. Do you remember we talked about the period of the oil booming? So we have here, it all means the same thing, and it is a very good idea to connect the words that you have learned all together. So based on the meaning that we have, again, just to remind you or remember that you have a kind of industry, a new thing. Just imagine that you will do something different in space. Companies are very excited because they think that it is a lucrative new industry. It will be very profitable. They will make a lot of money from it. So we can see the meanings that we have left here. The meanings, and this is some kind of word to just also give you a hint. Yes, producing a lot of money. So lucrative here means producing a lot of money. Orbit actually is a very easy word, so I will not give you any kind of word explanation, just this picture is enough. So the Earth, other planets, they orbit around the sun as a verb, or they move in an orbit as a noun. So we have here the word orbit here. Of course, it is associated with B based on the picture that you have here. Now, orbit here is a path in space, followed by a planet, moon, or spacecraft. So they brought it here as a noun. It is a path in space, but it is good to know that it is also a verb. Yes, this is an unusual word. Try to read it here. We have the word rigorous. Rigorous. Rigorous is not a very common word as well, like lucrative, but maybe this one is almost, more difficult. So here I said it is more difficult in pronunciation. It is easily associated or connected with the first meaning that you have here, which is extremely difficult. But I will give you the explanation from the context. So we have here the context. Let's just read it. In 2001, American multimillionaire Dennis Tito paid $20 million to become the first space tourist. After 8 months of rigorous training, Tito traveled abroad a Russian capsule that was launched by an American company called Space Adventures. So when this American guy, he wanted to go to space and he paid a large amount of money, here they didn't just let him ride a space shuttle. He had to have, as we can see here, after 8 months of rigorous training. So the training wasn't easy. We have here, it was rigorous. Now we can say that rigorous here, yes, it is. Let's just go back, I'm sorry. We have here rigorous, yes. Okay, so as we said, it means extremely difficult. And then after that, we have simulate, and actually you have just 2 words left. You have the meaning expensive, and you have the other meaning imitate. So simulate here, we can give directly the synonym of it, which is duplicate. It is easy to connect between simulate, duplicate, and also the word that you have here as a meaning. You can relate them by pronunciation, if not by these cute guys here. Now, is he a real fireman? Is she a real doctor? Is he a real engineer, for example, or a businessman? No. So we have here, they are just imitating. So here, simulate, duplicate, and imitate are all related together, which is a kind of copy action. Which leaves us to the last. Now the last here is the word expensive, which is steep. So steep here, yes, I'm going to relate it to this video here. Now just imagine that you are going to travel to space. Do you think it is something that is easy or you can do it? No. So it will be at a very high price, or you can change and say also steep. So steep, as you have here in the meaning, means expensive. So here are your words that you have, and here are the meanings. Now actually I'm going to leave this part for revision in the next time. Now, what I want from you here is to always relate and think of funny or amusing examples. So just think of some examples that you can use using the words that you have and try to make them as funny or amusing as you can. Why? I want you to relate to other examples. They do not have to be associated with the examples that you have here in the book. They can be something very different, and you can just change the idea that you have, but the words are the same words that you have here in the book. So we have our assignment, which is just to check the match part between the meaning and the word. And of course, what have I changed? I changed the idea. Instead of just doing the example or the exercise at the end, I matched one by one during the explanation. And you will also try to think of other amusing examples that we can discuss, or you can discuss with your classmates, and they will be the reason that you will, inshallah, remember the words that we have. Until we get to our next lesson, we have here just a short clip that I want to show you. So we have here, just relate to this, yes, okay, so no. So we are going to stop here. We're not to complete the video. I just want you just to take an idea from it, because it is going to be the reading lesson tomorrow that we have. It is very interesting. You will enjoy it, inshallah. And it is something totally different from our typical topics that we discuss every day. So you're going to use your imagination. You will, inshallah, enjoy it. Until then, just look up the examples that I asked. So we have here, we recognized and recalled meanings based on the words that we have. Also, we had the words and we tried to understand them from context or from pictures. Connected with synonyms also. And we have here the evaluation part is to communicate with new vocabulary. So you are going to use the new vocabulary and try to think of something very different. We have here also to connect to the definition. We did this part, and you are going to also just go back and revise as your homework. So until the next lesson, inshallah, just do what we have here, and I'll see you soon with the reading lesson.